Today we are going to learn how to create a web service. First you would start up a web service project. Then you might just copy some of this code I got here. Here's a data table. It's got wanted name. It's got a couple of columns I created. There's a connection string. The connection string's in the web config. It's using Windows NT authentication. It's connecting to a SQL Server Database. Here is a generic dynamic select statement that's being created dynamically based on what you pass into the web service. So if you just pass in the first name, and it will just select everything where it is like that first name. If you pass in first name, last name, it will select everything where it's like that first name and last name, and so on and so on. So here is a method. It's called most wanted search. It returns a data table that is filled based on the values you pass in. Here we are going to test this thing out, this web service. Here is the web service, FBI most wanted. We type in there DOM. Invoke the web service. It returns a data table. The data table has one record that it found that was like DOM. That data is stored inside of SQL Server. There's two tables, one in name and one in location in here. Here we're going to select the data right out of the database. As you can see, there is two records and one in name and 6 in one in location. And there's the Dominic record, the DOM. It found that DOM like statement that was generated. Here is the get FBI most wanted web service. You would right click your project on your reference, add a web service reference, and then you would invoke the method. In this case it's most wanted search. Then you would pass in the values. In this case I'm passing in some values, and then I'm binding to a data grid with the data table. The data table comes from the web service. The method returns a data table. Here we will test out the web service. So this is a project, a ASP.NET web page that is querying a web service. The web service could be far away on another server, and that web server with the web service could be accessing a SQL Server database from far, far away also. So you can see how this can be very beneficial in certain circumstances. Web services can be very powerful to share information, and they restrict information to those that only need certain information. And you can customize your web service to only allow certain information to go out. You can have your web service only allowed to be accessed by certain users. just playing around with the web service with the ASP.NET application that is calling the web service. I hope you got a good general idea of how web services work